Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hello everybody and welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. So, without further ado, what is this evening's topic? And I decided to talk about being busy, the busy lives that we all lead. And what prompted me to do that was this week have been talking to a whole bunch of my clients because I am developing some online courses for meditation and for intuition development. And I thought it would be a really great idea to talk to some people about what they would want to learn, what kind of challenges and blocks that they were experiencing. And you know, the number one challenge that I heard over and over and over again was, I'm just really busy. I'm so busy. And on top of the I'm busy was my mind won't keep still. My mind won't stay calm. My mind jumps all over the place. And, and I've got too much to do. So I thought that's what we could talk about, because it seems to be a really common thing these days for people to have really busy lives. You know, so whether you're a busy mum, and you're holding down a job and you're looking after a family and all of that, or whether you're a working man and you have a whole, a really stressful job, it just seems that all of us feel that we are busy and we have so much on our plate. And so I found an article by a lady called Ricky Rogers, who wrote an article. It says four ways to break free from being busy. And there was some interesting points that she made and also some tips. And I thought that we could read a few of them out and hopefully prompt some discussion from the listeners. And so one of the things that she said is that busyness has become a status symbol. Because when we say, oh, I'm really busy, to describe our life, what we're actually trying to say is that the activities that consume my day are important, that I feel overwhelmed because I'm busy, but my busyness is mandatory because I'm contributing so much to the world. So when we say we feel busy, when we feel busy, for some reason we feel like we're winning life, that we're being successful, because if I'm busy, I must be important. If I'm busy, I must be successful. If I'm busy, I must be wanted. I must be admired. And so what she says as a tip for that is stop talking about being busy. So instead, when somebody asks you when somebody asks you how you are, instead of saying I'm busy, tell them what you're actually doing, the accomplishments that are making you feel busy. And so, for example, instead of saying, oh, I'm really busy, say, I'm doing well. I just got promoted. It's given me the opportunity to do some travel. And so that's her advice on that one. And of course, if you're a regular listener, you know that my advice is always to meditate. But what sort of struck me about this week talking to all those people is these are people that in general know how to meditate, and yet they weren't doing it because the busyness of their lives was preventing them from doing it, because it's just another thing on their list of busy things to do. And instead of realizing that actually the meditation would help you to stop, enter stillness, and get a perspective, come into present time and get a perspective, everyone was just racing around feeling too busy to do it. And then this lady who wrote the article, the next thing that she says is, stop multitasking during your leisure time. that we as a culture have developed this tendency to always be doing more than one thing. So if we are watching the television, we're planning the shopping list, or if we are out to dinner, we're checking the emails on our phones, or if we're working out, we're watching a webinar or listening to a podcast or something at the same time. And so, the other thing is just to focus on one thing. If you focus on one thing at a time, that in itself will help bring you into the present moment. And I'm always, one of the things that makes people feel busy is because their mind is jumping around into the future, things that they have on their list that they have to do, sometimes jumping into the past, trying to correct mistakes that they believe that they've made. And that adds to the feeling of overwhelm. And so if you can just focus on one thing and bring your attention, that will help you bring your attention into the present moment, and that will help with the feeling of being too busy. And then the other thing that she says is, that we, yes, we schedule leisure time in our calendars, and it's there, some leisure thing that I'm doing. But then when we take the leisure time, we multitask while we're taking the leisure time. So the idea is block off some leisure time, and then that is a genuine stretch of leisure time that you don't break, you don't do anything else apart from relax and, enjoy your leisure time. Can you identify with any of this, Corey? Do you feel?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we all can.
Oh, without a doubt. I go into that mode quite often, actually. Into the busy mind mode.
Yeah. And the other thing that she's talking about, well, here we go. She's referring to a book that Arianna Huffington wrote called The Third Metric of Success. And she's redefining success, instead of being about money and power, that it's about well-being, wisdom, wonder, and giving. And so, she's apparently saying in that book that lifelong learning, meditation, and mindfulness and community involvement are equally as important as achieving and defining success. And, I think most of the time when we are super busy, we are trying to be successful at something. Whether it's a mom, trying to be successful at parenthood, running around after our kids, or whether it's, to do with the job or career, it usually is about being successful at something. And the final thing that she says is delegate more than you think you should. I know I'm not good at that one, delegating.
I am.
So yeah, the theme tonight, everybody, is busyness. So are you one of those people that is constantly busy, constantly on the run, constantly running from one thing to the next, with your mind racing and going crazy about all of the things that you have to fit into your day, all of the things that you have to achieve? So yeah, just think about this. Because the other thing about being so busy is, of course, that goes hand in hand with stress. And, long-term stress can lead to all sorts of problems for people. It can lead to chronic illnesses even. And so it starts with the busyness, it goes into being stressed, and then, from there it can lead to all sorts of things. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, who am I talking to?
My name is Ivina.
Ivina.
Irina.
Yeah. Hello, Ivina. And do you have a question, or do you want to join in with the discussion on being busy?
No, I have a question.
Okay, that's great. What's your question?
I'm looking to change my career, and I'm kind of stuck with it for many years, and I don't know how to approach this. So I went to courses in work BC, and they suggested to look at me and that, but it doesn't help. I thought maybe you have some better ideas.
Sure. So, what is your old career?
I worked first as a software developer and then as a quality assurance in software.
Okay, so software development and quality assurance. And what are some of the things that you're interested in?
I really like learning about consciousness and all around it and human being in life. This is one. The other thing I love is travel and outdoor adventures.
Okay.
I'm kind of outdoors.
Yeah. Okay. So let me take a look at these three things. Give me a moment, and I will just tune into your energy. And if you keep your eyes open while I do this. Okay. So let's take a look at you. That's kind of, your energy kind of looks interesting actually. So let's see. And I'm going to look at these three things, the thing that you used to do and the two things that you are interested in doing. Mm-hmm. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
A little bit weak.
Yes, I'm noticing on the radio dial. I'll turn my thing up a bit. Hang on.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so let's take a look. So I'm going to look at the two areas that you said that you're interested in, which is one is about something to do with consciousness and learning about consciousness, and the other is to do with travel, adventure, and outdoor. And it's interesting because I actually don't even see a distinction between the two of those, because I think, on the one hand, when you say you're interested in learning about consciousness, what you're actually referring to is your own spiritual awakening, your own spiritual unfoldment, you connecting more and more with your higher self, with source energy, and just tuning into that flow, and having a realization that the job that you used to do, it looks like it feels disconnected from source, in a way, that it's not fulfilling some things that you're yearning for, and it almost it's sort of like, I don't know, it's like being in a box, being in a cubicle, and it's in contrast to this idea of the outdoors and travel and adventure. It's like they're almost completely the opposite. Oh, yeah. And so I'm not sure about the learning about consciousness being a career at this point, but it's you. You are that consciousness. You are that evolving consciousness. You are that unfoldment and expansion of consciousness in every moment of your life. And then if I look and it definitely does look like this idea of travel and outdoor adventure is something that you are. So what kinds of things? I'm seeing. So is it things like canoeing or traveling abroad, or give me some examples? And what kind of job you might be thinking about? Would it be a tour guide? Would it be what kind of thing would it be that you've?
So the thing is that I'm a bit grounded by my family and kids that need to be settled and go to schools and things like that. So I'm not free to travel so much. So that's my constraint in being a guide or something like that.
So one of the things, what I was actually one of the images that I was seeing was canoes, and this might just be an example, but what springs to mind is, how about being involved in something that is local but outdoors? Like, I don't know, I'll make something up. I mean, I was seeing a picture of a canoe, but so, for example, being somebody that organises outdoor adventures for kids or something like that in the local setting that would fit in with your family life. So give me a moment anyway, and I'm just going to see what else I can see about you, and also what the block to the energy flowing. Because, when I look at your energy,
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the chakras and what they are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I look at your energy, the chakra that lights up the strongest is the third chakra, which has to do with energy distribution. And when I look at that, the energy looks like it's the energy flow looks like it's limited, and I think you've just explained why. It's because you feel limited by your family. Your family situation gives some necessary limitations on things. And then, but it looks like that it's that idea of the limitation that's keeping you stuck in a way. So, let's see. I'm going to just give you a healing and see if anything else comes up as I'm doing that.
Thank you.
Have you ever thought another image that's coming up is an image of reminds me of a coach, like a soccer coach or something like that. The one who blows the whistle. And so I'm getting all sorts of images like that, whether it's the canoes and the soccer coach, and so something that might involve helping kids with outdoor pursuits and outdoor adventures. And then the other thing that came up might be something to do with teaching. So, and I don't know whether it's teaching them to do stuff in these hypothetical outdoor adventures, but just and so it looks like being able to organize outings, organize people, introduce them to, but we're not talking like big adventures. We're talking like little adventures that fit into the kind of day that you have at the moment, because you've got your family and everything. Yeah. So these are the kinds of things that are coming up, and it just looks like that would feel better to you. That would feel better in your body, to be outside, to be moving. To be interacting with people, that every day wouldn't feel the same, that there would be and so let's see, and what I'm getting is just to be open to different ways of falling into this. If you put out to the universe that this is what you want. You've got a passion for being outdoors, that you really would like opportunities to move in that direction, and then just allow the universe to fill the space of your desire. And so don't focus on the limits. Don't focus on, well, I'd like to do this, but I can't do it because I've got these limits. Just forget about that completely. Just put out there that this is the general area that I would really like to, be spending more of my time, and then just be open to what comes to you. And maybe it starts out as a volunteer opportunity and grows into something else, And so it looks like there's actually a wide array of possibilities in this area for you. And if you're open to them, And here's the other thing. There's nothing to say that you can't try something and then decide that wasn't the right thing and then try something else. And then, as you're trying and experiencing, you're moving further along the path because you're trying things that are in the realm of the outdoors and you're helping to define what you like and what you don't like about it. But, I would say that it does look like that's the direction that you're, how to say this? I can validate that that's a direction that you are, that there's a passion, that there's an affinity for. And I can validate that you've lost your affinity for the software development Q&A side of things. And so I think the two clues that I would say to you is let go of any limits, any reasons that you can think of why you can't have what you want. Forget about that. Believe that you can have it. Put the message out to the universe. Feel in the vibration of being happy and having a very fulfilling experience that involves being in the outdoors, and then let the universe fill in the space for you. And like I said, I'm seeing that there are lots of possibilities for you, and it might not land on your plate tomorrow that wow, this is it and I'm flying with it. There might be a little period of experimentation first, but at least that experimentation is going to get you closer to where you're wanting to go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it helps a lot, and your voice is very pleasant.
Oh, thank you.
Yep, thank you very much.
Oh, you're really welcome, and thank you for calling into the show.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye.
Just quickly, she had actually written in the question as well, and in her question, what she asked was, what's the best resource to increase my intuition and change my beliefs around her occupation?
Yeah. So we can look at that after the break, actually, but I'll have to go to a break, so we'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. And this evening we have been talking about busyness, being busy, being so busy that you're overwhelmed and stressed out and don't even have time to contemplate meditating, which is the best thing that could help you out of that situation. And we're now in the time of the show where we take your calls. And Corey, you were saying that the lady we've just were talking to before the break actually emailed a different question as well. So we can take a look at that.
Well, she has, but what I was saying, the question itself was a little different. What she was saying, what's the best resource to increase my intuition and change my beliefs? I'm trying to change my occupation, but don't know what to do instead of my previous job. So what she's looking for is a way to, and I think you probably answered that question as well through the question, but I just wanted to make mention of that because it's...
so a way to get clarity for herself, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so we talk about that a lot on this show, and really the best way to access your intuition, the best way to get clarity, we don't even have to call it intuition, the best way to get clarity, the best way to calm your mind, still your mind, let go of all the confusion and the distractions is meditation. And so and the two techniques that I talk about all the time on this show, one of them is grounding, where you create a flow of energy from near the base of your spine to the center of the earth. And you can find me explain that on many of the back podcasts of this show. And the second one is centering, where you place your conscious awareness in the center of your head. The grounding helps you let go of self-doubt, distractions, pastime energy, other people's ideas about what you should be doing. It gives you the power to release that for yourself, and being in the center of your head places you in a position of being neutral, non-judgmental, very clear, above the emotions and apart from the intellect. Because what confuses people most often is the intellect, is that busy monkey mind that won't stop thinking. That and the emotions, and especially emotional triggers and emotional reactions to other people and other people's energy in your space, confusing you about what it is that you want. So those two techniques really help with all of that. And so that they really are the key to unlocking your truth, to unlocking your clarity, to helping you just clear your blocks and know what it is that you want for yourself. All right, Corey, do you think we've adequately answered that
I
now?
think so. By the way, I like my monkey mind. It's the only pet I can have where I don't have to clean up or feed it.
Are you sure you don't have to clean up?
No. Okay, actually, Irina has also sent in another question, and so we'll make it the Irina show tonight. In a loving way, Irina. And her question is, I'd like to learn to experience astral projection, lucid dreaming, or OOB, which is out-of-body experience, etc., but haven't succeeded after many tries. Do you have any suggestions?
Okay, sure. So let's first of all talk about those three different things: astral projection, lucid dreaming, and out-of-body experience. So when you are asleep at night, you actually vacate the premises of your body, and and most of us experience that through our dream memories. But what you're actually doing in that time is you are in an out-of-body state. And there's a few different ways of being in an out-of-body state, by the way. One way is astral projection, which means that you leave the body and your consciousness leaves the physical body, but it becomes housed, it remains housed within your astral body. So your astral body is another body that you have that enables you to have experiences on the astral plane. So your consciousness can inhabit that body, and that's what many of us remember as being the dreams that we have. So that's astral projection, otherwise called astral travel. When you leave the body, when you're asleep, in your astral body and have experiences on the astral plane. It is a form of out-of-body experience, but you can also travel outside of the body as pure consciousness, so that you are not in any body at all. And you can travel outside the body. There are other bodies that you have, such as your light body, for example, that will allow you to go to other realities besides the astral plane. And what lucid dreaming is, it is the idea that you fall asleep and you wake up inside your dream. So I'm not sure what the technique that you were trying, Irina. Most people are attempting lucid dreaming. And so there are techniques where you can fall asleep while you visualize a certain scene. For example, as you're falling asleep, you're visualizing that you're walking down a path or you're walking up a staircase. And when you reach a door at the other end, you have left your body and are in the dream state. That works for some people. There are lots of other techniques, so many of them, where again, while you're falling asleep, you can imagine that you're going backwards and forwards on a swing. Backwards and forwards on a swing over and over again, going higher and higher and higher until eventually you're out of the body. There's another technique where you can, as you're lying down, imagine that you're like made of plasticine, and your feet stretch to the wall on one side of the room, and your head stretches to the wall on the other side of the room. And all of these and there are many of them. I said a couple of them, but what they're doing is they're trying to get your consciousness to shift so that it's losing its sort of connection with the physical body, right? Because you're getting your consciousness to shift to something that is different than the physical body. So, Irina, one thing, I could actually send you a list of techniques. I have your email address. I'll send you a list of techniques like that, because I have a big list of them, rather than try and explain them all. But you also can learn to astrally project fully consciously. You can actually learn to take your astral body out of your physical body while you're awake, and shift your consciousness backwards and forwards between the two, and and walk around the room in your astral body while you're still conscious in your physical body. But that's kind of an advanced technique that you have to work your way up to doing, really. And so I definitely suggest for people wanting to go that way that there's some foundational things that you need to know in terms of meditation and consciousness and all of that, before you get to that stage. So Irene, that's given you a little bit of information about it. Actually, I could tune into you again. And funnily enough, we were looking at your third chakra earlier. And the third chakra is also the one that relates to out-of-body experience and out-of-body memory, as well as energy distribution, which is what we were talking about before. So it looks like you are in, a third chakra growth cycle, really. So let me see if there's anything else I can see about this for you. The first thing that comes up is that because you have a desire to do this, and you think about it, and you've been trying it, and you've actually been succeeding, it's just that you've not been remembering, right? So you've been... But what I'm seeing has happened is that... So the third chakra has your information about out-of-body experience. It also has the out-of-body memory. So how you bring the memories of what you've been up to through to your waking consciousness. And I'm actually seeing that your third chakra is a bit backed up, a bit clogged up. So it's like there's a whole bunch of experiences in there that haven't been sort of cleared out. And that is... it's sort of, let's almost say it's almost like the third chakra looks in a little bit of overwhelm and a little bit confused. And, so we'll give that a quick healing. And we'll give that a quick healing. All right. So I think we'll probably do another question, Corey, and... I'll continue giving her a healing while you're asking it.
Okay, this is a question from Lara. And Lara would like to know, should I let go of my desire to experience, in quotations, falling in love, if I can't have it with my marriage? So I'll read that again. Should I let go of my desire to experience falling in love if I can't have it within my marriage? What's there instead?
Wow. Okay. Right. All right. Well, let's take a look, Lara. Give me a moment. Hopefully you're listening, and I'll tune in. So, all right. When we fall in love with somebody, it's very exhilarating. You feel on top of the world. You feel wonderful, don't you? And then after a while that dissipates. And it's really natural, because what happens when you fall in love and you're meeting someone for the first time, it's almost like you temporarily let go of this filter of judgments, criticisms, expectations that you might normally look at the world through, right? It's sort of temporarily. It's because that affinity, that draw, that connection sort of temporarily overrides that. And so and so you're able to feel, I don't know, the heights of passion and love and super high vibrations that are really close to, well, a bit like let's call it like, all experiences are spiritual experiences, but it's helping you remember what it's like to be pure spirit, that feeling of love. And then, then normal life takes over. That filter of expectations, judgments, criticisms, all of that comes back. And then you start looking at the other person through that, and they start looking at you through that. Okay? And so that falling in love thing that we humans go through, that's kind of, in a way, it's a temporary state. It's a temporary state that most of us don't really, well, I don't even know if any of us manage to sustain with another person for a long time. But it can become a bit like a drug for some people, isn't it? That they want it over and over again, and so they don't have lasting relationships because they're craving that feeling and they have an expectation that it will last. So my perspective is that it kind of doesn't last for anybody. And then the next part of the question was, well, what is there instead? So what is there instead is that there's a partner for you to share your life with, and for you to engage in let's call it a spiritual dance with. They light you up, you light them up. And every time that's an offering of love, because it's an opportunity to heal yourself. It's an opportunity to if you're being triggered by somebody, to say what's going on within my space here, because I can make a change there. So let's see, I'm going to look at you specifically though, Lara. But I am seeing that that's what you're craving. You're craving that feeling that you get when you fall in love. And I would say that it's possible for you to gain that feeling of connection, that feeling of high vibration in other ways, and still be happy in your marriage. And so, for example, I'm always pushing meditation, but meditation can help you to reach those, have those kinds of feelings and experiences of being connected to a higher power, being supported, being loved, just being in that high vibration of love. You can actually learn to bring yourself into that state and that feeling without needing it to come from another person or a particular situation. Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley.
And we have a question from Brant. And Brant wants to know, am I a healer, past life, present, or both?
Okay. Great question. Brant, let's take a look for you. And I'm just going to tune into your energy. But the first thing I want to say is I don't even think you'd be asking that question if you weren't. It's sort of, yeah. So I'm sure the answer to that is yes. I'm going to just tune in to where you're at right now in the current life and see if we can find a past life for you that validates it as well. So, when I look at you in the present life, I actually see you have a lot of energy and a lot of power. And it looks like you recognize that you have a lot of energy and a lot of power. And so you're looking for, what's this for and what do I do with it? And, on the one hand, it's like you have a sense that I can help other people with it. And so it sort of feels to me like you're currently in a searching mode of like, what do I do with all of this power? And it's like you love it, but at the moment you're not focusing it or channeling it in a specific direction. And so there's like a missing piece. There's like a little bit of a gap. And I'm seeing that. I'm going to also give you a healing as well. I just want to connect you with Source a little bit more than you are, because that really is going to help you to tune in and connect with your, well, kind of like why you're here and how you're wanting to use all that power and energy. But for sure you could channel it into healing, and it looks like that you have, that excites you very much. And I use the word excites because it feels, it's not just like being excited, it's like the excitement of that energy. You have this real power and energy about you. So let's look for a past life and see. And all right, I'm going to read a past life about halfway down your timeline. And you're in a male body, and it looks like it's in Greece, and it looks like it's sometime possibly in the first few centuries after Christ, because definitely the church there exists, because you're dressed in a way that makes me think that you are a priest of some kind. I don't know if they call them priests in the Greek Orthodox Church, but so I'm seeing that while you are, it's at a time when it's that junction between where Christianity is still sort of emerging, and they haven't forgotten all of the pagan ways of the pagan past. And so I'm seeing that you know, if you were to compare what a Greek Orthodox priest does now and what you were doing then, there would be some differences, because I'm seeing that you were doing various rites, whether it would be a marriage or a child coming into the world or somebody dying. But I'm also seeing that you were doing, let's call it augury. And what I mean by that is doing readings for people and predicting the future for people. And I'm also seeing that you were also fulfilling the function of a physician or a doctor sometimes. And so so some of the things that you did involved herbs and concoctions, and some of the things that you did involved, well, it's like things that you believed in and that people believed in, but nowadays we might look at and say, well, it's a bit of snake oil there, a bit of old wives' tale. And so, but I'm seeing that you, in that life, you were working with people through their lives, through their major life transitions, and helping them through their major life transitions, and helping them to cope with their lives. So people came to you when they were in trouble. They came to you if they were unwell. They came to you if they were worried, Father, tell me, is my future going to be okay, because all these dreadful things are happening to me? And so you ministered to people. And so it wasn't just in terms of being a healer because you were laying on hands or doing energy healing, or you were being a herbalist. There was a psychological component to it as well, a counseling component to it as well. And so when, let's see how that relates to the current. Well, I'm honestly, the reason that lifetime came up is I think because it illustrates that there's a lot of ways that you could go with this. And so I don't know when you use the word healer, I don't know what your concept of a healer is. But I think what I would say is you could go in any direction you want to with it. Because it looks to me like you would be, all of those things that I've mentioned, you would be capable of doing in this lifetime. Giving people readings, giving people spiritual counseling, helping them through life transitions, and giving them healings. There's another lifetime. If I have time, I will go to it. I only have about 2 minutes left, which is a very long time ago, at the beginning of your timeline, and it looks to be a formative lifetime that sort of set you up on the path that you're on. And if I can get something in the limited time left, I will. So it looks like you've been here since the beginning of mankind on this planet, and that when you were first here, it was kind of, you came here on purpose because you wanted to participate in the awakening of our species, of us becoming conscious. And so you've been playing a part in that process in many lifetimes, ministering to people in a way that helps that process along. And so, of course, you're here at this time on the planet when there's like a massive opportunity for that, and just itching to get going. So the only things I would say, really, just in finishing, is ground. And if you don't know how to ground, listen to some of my past podcasts, and I'm sure that you'll find one that teaches you, just to get all that energy grounded here and connect to source, just so that you're connected with your own higher guidance about what you are wanting to do with this. But anyway, the short answer is yes, you are a healer.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to her website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.